What's up, man?
Gentlemen,
What's up, Chris?
good evening. Hear me okay?
Yeah, you're loud and
All
clear.
right, sometimes this mic is finicky. Yeah, man, well, first, I'll do my own endorsement. So, I mean, I think, Rich, the first video I saw from yours was actually while I was still in the live-in LTR, probably back in the fall. And it was, I think, at that point, your most popular video, which was 3 Women Not to Date. It was the one about daddy issues. And I think, I don't know if I'd been searching for daddy issues and I saw that and I was like, holy shit. And even one of the BTTs, Paul, that you were on, I think the one about covert narcissism, that one I've listened to probably like 4 times in a row, just like checking off the boxes. So, but guys, for you guys listening out there, I mean, I'm in the 1% community. You know, if you can do it, do it. You know, it's not for thin-skinned guys. Like we're there, I'm in it, and people will tell you what's up. Like we're all there to make each other better. I mean, Rich, I think even since my conversation when I was here a couple months ago with you and Aaron Clary, you know, I have moved into a new place. I got a new job that now I'm making a 6-figure income, feeling much better. The crippling one-itis is gone. I'm spinning multiple plates at this point. So I'm having more fun now and more success in my career with women than I've ever had. And you're certainly a you know, big part of that. So, yeah, so I chatted with you guys a little bit on stereo, I guess it was yesterday. And I thought this might be good, especially Paul, from like the pragmatic standpoint about actionable items and actually how to have this conversation. So just as a refresher, spinning a couple plates right now, and I'm getting to that 2 to 3 month period where it's either starting to happen or I understand it's getting ready to happen, where the conversation is around the what are we? You know, where is this going? Are you with other women? You know, are we locking this down? And so my ideal scenario is that I would have a handful or a mini harem of women that I'm sleeping with, spending time with, and keeping in rotation, but they're going to be sexually exclusive to me, and I don't want to share them with other men. So, you know, I know the first step is like, let's draw that boundary and just say, hey, if you don't like it, there's the door. But as far as maybe navigating those waters a little bit and having that conversation in real time, just I think some of the guys out there that may be interested in facing a similar situation could benefit on hearing your advice.
How many of them are asking you for exclusivity, by the way? Like all 3
right
of them?
now, it's none. Right now,
Okay.
it's none. But I'm hearing from them more often. It's not just one of these things. Usually, it's like, hey, let's hang out next Wednesday. Cool, I'll see you then. And now, like more frequently, the texts are incoming, and I'm keeping them at arm's length still. A couple texts here and there. Hey, I got to run. I got meetings, et cetera, et cetera. Or still not doing a ton of chit chat, but I can kind of see that with the amount of contacting me and how often and the things that it's about and how often they want to see me, that we're starting to go down that path a little bit.
I'll you know, hand this over to Paul in a minute, but I'll say this. Like, I think that you shouldn't even be entertaining a conversation about where do we stand unless it's been at least 3 to 6 months. And it's going to be like, you know, 3 to 6 months of good behavior. And even then, if you're not interested, you know, in a monogamous LTR, then just tell them like, hey, you know, I don't think monogamy is good for me. It doesn't work. I dig your vibe. I'm completely good with, you know, continuing to roll this way, but just understand that I'm going to be seeing other women from time to time. I'm not going to put your health at risk, meaning I'm not going to be like raw dogging them all, you know, sort of thing. I'm not going to embarrass you, but that's how I roll. So if you're cool with that, then we can keep doing that. And then if she's good with that, then the next thing that you're going to drop is, and I expect you to be sexually monogamous with me. And if those things don't work, there's a door over there and you can walk out of it. Paul?
Chris is thinking, dude, I can't imagine having this conversation with him. I can tell. Look at his face. That's all right, though. Listen, well, first of all, too, kind of think about how you'd want to design your life around having different women. So at the Rule Zero conference, I did a presentation on harems, right? And how to actually run a harem where not only your girl is consensual to you seeing other women, but she invites it, wants and wants to be a part of it. So, I mean, depending on what you want, that's an option. These really, you have to decide though, how you want to design your life with women. And we didn't get into this much in stereo, but it's good to get into here. If you want monogamy and that's your values, that's what you want, cool. If you would be open to that, or you want to just keep spinning plates forever or for a long time, that's fine. Whatever it is you want, you decide what that is first. I think the biggest problem is, you know, I thought about your question and stuff after we had talked yesterday. I think the biggest thing that I forget to tell guys is you have to set your frame to begin with, which means knowing what you want it to look like, knowing what you want your goals to look like. If you don't know what it looks like or should look like, and if that's possible or how, then how do you present that, right, to the other person? It ends up becoming then a negotiation, and because you don't want to lose these chicks, right? Or you don't want to lose sexual access. And that's not what you want it to turn into. So if you have a vision, you know what it looks like. That's the first thing. Now, why don't we answer that question first, and I'll point you in the right direction at a practical level. So what are you just going to do? Do you want a relationship eventually? Do you want to keep it plates forever? Do you want to do plates now for a long time and then maybe later? Or like, what would it look like for you?
Yeah, Paul. So Rich knows a little bit more background on my situation. So I'm 4 or 5 months removed from a 2.5 year long LTR, live in, the dog, that whole thing, the dream of the white picket fence.
How old are you?
And so I'm 29. And so,
Okay.
I'm thinking at least a couple of years before even really entertaining the idea of, I'm getting into now, I'm really starting to hit my stride when it comes to my career. I'm doing some traveling. I've made complete lifestyle changes from where I was a couple of months ago. So that's a really good question that I hadn't thought about a lot. I mean, I think maybe I say it tongue in cheek. It's like, well, I'd rather just have, 3 girlfriends and then they'll be cool with it. But understanding how much time and resources that if I'm going to treat them all the same and equally, like it's not just, a cakewalk, right? So I don't know if that means letting the cream rise to the top and then bringing other women in periodically, or if that's, I have, the multiple committed women to me and vice versa. So yeah, I mean, that's something I definitely would have to think about and probably make a decision on rather quickly.
Yeah, you just think about what you want it to look like. Not that it has to be that way today, but what you'd be open for. You're never going for the commitment, right? You're protecting the commitment. So she should be going for that from you. You're protecting yourself from getting into a commitment that could ruin your life essentially or be a huge hindrance. And so these women have to prove to you that they're better for you as a compliment than as someone you keep at arm's length or as someone you don't have in your life at all. That's the burden of proof is on them to do that. So that's where your framework should be, of course, but then having that vision. So what I find is that for productivity and accomplishing stuff, either monogamy or what I sort of do, which would be, or what a lot of guys do, which is having that LTR that on the surface looks exactly like a normal long-term relationship that you would have with, that you could go to your family functions and go to a party at work or something, and everything's normal, right? But you occasionally bring in other girls. You don't have to worry about treating other girls in your life equally now. All right, these girls come in and it serves their purpose to have sexual experiences and a good time with you and your chick, or even sometimes just with you. She realizes that this is an enhancement of your relationship rather than a hindrance. And then you're not trying to manage like multiple wives, because the more girls you add in as more permanent fixtures, the more management you have to do now on those relationships. And that takes away from you achieving stuff. That's the reason why I don't look at it like, oh, bring in, I'm going to bring in another LTR and another LTR. Why don't I do that? It's because I think that would be a lot more to manage. And now my time and energy goes into that. And that's not good for me. Right. And so
you basically want them, if they're spending more time with you and you've invited them more, like, I say draw these, perimeters around you and invite people that you know, like, and trust and have proven themselves closer and closer to the inside of your, perimeters. You want to make sure that they're not a drain on your time and resources, right? Like if you're going to run it this way, you want to make sure that this is not what you're spending all your time on, managing drama between the, because there's a lot of guys that will fucking run like multiple checks and their life's a nightmare. Like they spend all their time, dealing with them fighting with each other and the fucking cattiness and all this sort of stuff. And if you're getting yourself to a position like that, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, right?
Yeah,
like
I've been in
make
that
sure that
position
you
before.
like Paul says, like you have early frame announcement and then you manage that throughout the length of the whole thing. And anytime they get out of line, it's like fucking soft necks. And if they continue to do it, then just get rid of them. Like you have to be fastidious about your time and your purpose, here, and focus on that. And don't let these fucking chicks get in the way of that. Right.
Yeah. And so now practical going forward, you figure out what it looks like, and then it's easy to present the frame now because you know what it looks like. You're very clear in your purpose. now a chick says, hey, you know, what are we, where we stand? And it's been 3 months. You just say, hey, you know what? I've done the long-term relationship and it got bad real fast. I don't want to be trapped in that. So let's just let things grow organically and see how things go. And it's going to be that way for a while. And I hope that you're cool with that, because if you're not, I don't know what to tell you. I want to enjoy my time with you. Let's just keep enjoying our time. And that's your discussion, right? Now, if it's a year down the line, they're like, where do we stand? Or let's say differently, right? Let's say there's something that kind of disqualifies her as an LTR. Like, let's say she's showing her butthole on Instagram every day, yeah, for likes, okay? And but she's cool other than that, right? So then you just kind of look at it and go, you know what? I really like spending time with you. I like our time together, but honestly, you do a lot of things that are not really relationship behaviors. I'm surprised you'd even ask me that question.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you mean? Well, I mean, look at your Instagram. Not judging you for it, but I can't be in a relationship with someone who signals to other men like that. So we'll just hang out, have fun, and whatever. We'll see how it goes. Then that's your frame. Watch her behavior change now, and her be more of a qualified prospect for an LTR, or it doesn't change and you know where to put her. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah, I think it's a little early, right? But as well, I mean, this also
it's early, but it's good to plan for it.
Yeah, it's a good timeline and things to be thinking about. But yeah, man, I'll let you guys move on. I appreciate it, guys.
All right, brother. Thanks. See ya.
All right.